There. Okay, welcome guys to the Wednesday night call. We're going to be speaking a lot about carnosine today and of course why we are so excited. We have some great stories to share as well. But first of all, for those of you that don't know me, I want to share a little bit about myself. My name is Rebecca White. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm an entrepreneur for over 17 years. I've worked in traditional business, online business, coaching. I'm kinesiologist. I have a diploma in business management. I did work in the fitness and health industry, and I'm really very passionate about health freedom, financial freedom, and just being able to, create our own lives exactly how we want to create them, transforming ourselves into our best version of ourselves. So, to be fair, I've been around this industry of networking and affiliate style marketing for quite some time, and I have made it to that top 2% in that network marketing industry, which is a really tough thing to do sometimes, right? So I've been around and I've seen a lot of things. And when this first come to me around this carnosine, I had no idea what carnosine was. And I was a bit of I don't know. I think I've got a bit of PTSD. I'm not sure if I'm ready for this. But my dear friend Justine kept at me and she shared some great information. And eventually, I actually was able to really understand what an opportunity this is. No contraindications, no non-competes, blue ocean. There's nothing else like it, and it's a dipeptide that will change your body and change your life. So, I'm all in, and I absolutely love it. And I want to also share from this space the story of the actual company. So. This is Kevin Atkinson, and Kevin Atkinson is the CEO of the company we're speaking about today. He discovered this really obscure little formula because he was an entrepreneur buying and selling, different IPs. And he's seen something down the list of, helping to cure restless legs and treating restless leg syndrome. And he wasn't necessarily excited about that, but underneath in brackets, something about buffering muscle acidity, buffering lactic acid. Now he was like, I've never heard of that before, and that really intrigued him. And he's got a lot of friends and a lot of people that he knew over in Canada who played ice hockey and things like that. And he thought, I'm going to get this and I'm going to give it a try. He got it sent to him. He had a shop for himself and he was like, oh my goodness, this stuff's amazing. He knew he had something really special here. He gave it to one of his friends. I'm not sure how he gave it to him. One of his friends was the Stanley Cup champion, Eric Ferrer, who, was still playing ice hockey back then. And he got that early formula and immediately said, this is the bomb. He got his legs back. He could skate longer. He could do all the stuff. And they realized, holy moly, we've actually got the next Gatorade here. So he told that company, I want it. I'm buying it. Don't give it to anyone else. And he took that and bought that IP. Now, in this industry or in this world, when you buy something like that, when you decide to bring something like that to the market, there's a few different stages. You can trademark it and everyone else will just copy the formula, or you can patent it. But that takes decades and tens of millions of dollars. But they decided because they could see the bigger vision here, they had to patent it. Now, along this journey, this is like over 10 years of work to patent this. It's got over 40 patents now. Around the world, which is really huge, and they had to keep it in secret. But in this big story, it's such a story that they actually are going to do a doco series on how this has come to market. It's been over 15 years to come to market, right? In the meantime, it was in silent mode. It was going from locker room to locker room in the ice hockey, the NHL, and athlete to athlete. They were telling them this was their secret weapon. This is how they were recovering. This is how they were getting more out of themselves. They were like, whoa, we've got something great here. So in this meantime, as we were getting it patent, or as Kevin was getting it patent, it was in secret mode around all the elite athletes, which is just unbelievable until it found its way into the hands of this man. He was a sports performance coach. And when I say elite athletes, we're talking at Usain Bolt level. He was an Olympic boxer himself. He didn't make it to the Olympics. He got injured. We just found that out, but he was an Olympic boxer and on the team for USA. But this is Chad Macias. He's a molecular physiologist. He cut his teeth on cancer research for over 15 years. So he's a scientist, he's a doctor, and he actually knows, well, I don't know if there's a doctor actually, but he actually knows all about different things in the health and wellness world because he was also the sports performance coach for over 2,500 athletes. One of his MMA fighters come to him with a tube of this gel and said, hey, can you check this out? Can I use this? Because I'm getting great results. I'm feeling good. He said, let me check. He went down and he used it himself and he said, whoa, what is this stuff? Is this legal? So he wanted to check, is it legal, right? Because it was so good. He noticed something was, really amazing. So he went and asked the company, he asked for the patent, he asked for the formula, and they said, well, actually try to bring it to patent now. And he said, I want to be on that team. I want to be the science person on that team. So now he is the chief science officer. He joined the vision. I'm not sure how many years ago that was. It would have been quite some years ago, because it's taken that long to get it right here, right now. So after experiencing this product firsthand, he partnered with this team. And now he is spearheading this clinical research, and they're doing a lot of research, guys. This is a patent formula, and the delivery system is what's really exciting. So they've patented this, and you can imagine where that could go to in the future, right? My little spider tingly feelings for the entrepreneur of where this is going was really starting to get intrigued. So what is carnosine? Because I didn't know what carnosine was. A few months ago, I had no idea. I'd heard a little bit about peptides, and that was starting to get definitely a little bit of a trend, which it certainly is, but I had no idea about carnosine and no idea about peptides really at that time either. Just think back though, when you were young, what happens is you have a lot of this naturally in your body. You could get up, you could play all day, you could ride your bike, you could do sports, you could do whatever you needed to do, play outside all day from dawn till dusk, right? And get up the next day, do it all again. No soreness, you recovered, you didn't have any of that, stuff that we get as we start to age. The reason why is our carnosine levels were really high. It is a naturally occurring dipeptide, right? When we get to about 10 to, that teenage years, it starts to plummet pretty quickly. Kind of reminds me of collagen. Once you get to the age of 20, it's like 40%. Just at 20 years old, you can imagine as you get older and older, and this is why we start to feel things a lot more and a lot more, right? Starts to make a little bit of sense there. So carnosine's actually, this is why carnosine's depleting in your body. It is a naturally occurring, highly powerful dipeptide composed of beta-alanine and histidine. It's found natively in your body in high concentrations within the muscles, the brain, and the vital organs. It has actually had a lot of studies done on it. There's been studies for over 100 years, but the last 20 years, a lot more. 3,500 studies, in fact, over 3,500. And you can go to pubmed.com and check it out yourself. So they know this is something they really want to look at. The only reason is people haven't heard of it because unfortunately they hadn't cracked the code of how to get it into the body. They've tried lots of pills, they've tried other things, but really it wasn't making a big impact. So, unfortunately, if you can't make a big impact and you can't make the money, you don't actually start to hear about it. It doesn't really get out there in the mainstream. Where we come in is, of course, and I do want you to go have a look if you are interested. Go to Amazon.com, go to them places and have a look for carnosine, products. Not, you won't find our products on there, but you'll find other digestive products and you'll see a lot on there, but a lot of them unfortunately just don't work. And this is what happens. You don't get the results you really want to get. You'd be lucky if you get 5%, absorption rate. And that's the dirty little secret in this sort of industry, especially with digestible vitamins and minerals. You really don't get a lot of that absorbed. So this has been the issue up until now. But imagine if you could go back in time, if you could be made of rubber again, if you could feel like you did in your youth, in your teenage years, go back 20 years. I know I certainly feel 20 years younger. My body is in the best shape of its life at 45. I'm back to where I was at 25. I'm feeling amazing. It's because I've raised these carnosine levels up. I didn't have to take heaps of tablets. I'm bypassing that gut process, which really, has a bit of an issue there. And I've raised the carnosine levels up naturally. Okay. And this is what we are speaking about today. So for me, I'm not a scientist, but I do like to know there is a lot of science behind this product, behind this business. They've done skin modeling studies, equine studies, human studies, independent human studies. I'm going to say to you, get back to the person that shared this with you or that invited you and ask them for the studies. You can go to justtryit.today. And you'll be able to see that there as well, or thecarnosinelab.com, and you'll be able to see a lot more information as well. They did these studies, transdermal absorption studies, and they were shocked. It demonstrated that rapid penetration across all of that barrier and through these layers, which most things really don't get through, okay? So it confirmed and sustained delivery through all skin layers over time, and it's a really short time too. They also did studies with horses and they noticed, and they were very impressed with up to 300%. It says 100% there, but some of them were up to 300% increase which is crazy. So that baseline carnosine levels, if they're low, you just put it on and it really starts to increase very dramatically. In fact, within 30 to 45 minutes, it's at its peak. It was, of course, famously used for the top five finishers of the 2021 Kentucky Derby, and it certainly changed what they can put on horses on race day. That's how good it was. So we have a horse product. It's incredible for animals. It just had absolute proof that this topical delivery system universally bypasses that digestive barrier for direct tissue saturation. And that's really important to understand that, guys. So when I spoke about, it being high in the brain, and this is why they first thought this is just, this is amazing for the athletes. What they didn't realize at the time, and it's taken a few years, and now they finally realize it's not just for the athletes. This is incredibly good for average everyday people. It's so good for us in our brains and other organs. In fact, starting to do a lot more studies because they recognized if they can increase that carnosine level in the brain, it's a defense against targeted oxidative stress and neuroinflammation. In fact, it acts as a neurological shield, improving memory and cognitive focus. And they're doing some really groundbreaking investigations around the management of neurodegenerative decline. Can you imagine where this is going to go, right? Okay, so I'm not a scientist, but you can go and do them studies and have a look at them studies. They're just unreal. They also recognize it is a metabolic defense. It operates as a multifunctional protective molecule. It's a smart molecule. It travels beyond the skeletal, beyond the muscle to stabilize cellular environments in the vital organs to regulate systemic inflammation. Now, that is huge, guys, because that's connected to every single chronic illness. Okay, so if you have inflammation, especially systemic, it's connected to all of that. So, it also stabilizes the blood glucose levels and helps with the glycation of the blood, which is absolutely amazing. It improves insulin sensitivity. It shields against chronic dysfunction in the heart, the kidneys, and the vascular system. This is way more than just a sports product, guys. It is recovery, metabolism, anti-aging, neurologically. It's just an unbelievable product that we're speaking about here to really help you experience the best out of your body. What I'd like to do now is bring on some people who want to share. Fortunately, Tracy isn't going to make it, I don't think, but whoever would like to share, bring yourself on now and we could share some stories about what the carnosine has done. Yes, Deborah, would you like to share?
Yeah, I've got a little one, but I've been taking it for the last few months, and bit by bit, it's really starting to impact my world. I had 3 years, I had a stroke, and sometimes my cognitive abilities don't click in. I'm getting sharper in my thinking, which is really super. I'm walking really well. Like that's super, super fantastic for someone that hasn't walked for many years because of illness. And what shocked me this week is I can actually bruise really easy. I'm on a lot of thinners, on a lot of different things. And it doesn't happen all the time, but every now and again it does. Normally a bruise will last, a month, maybe two on me. Within 2 weeks, see the bruise there? That's just a shadow there now, almost gone. And under 2 weeks. Going through the whole body, it's amazing. I'm thrilled because there's nothing uglier
Yeah.
than having those bruises show up everywhere like that. So that's
Wow, that's fantastic.
my little testimonial.
That's amazing. And you do bruise easy and it stays for a long time, so that's great.
Yeah.
Something to That's great. So who else would thank you for sharing that story, Deborah. That's amazing. You know what? I just asked some people recently for the little testimonies and I realized I needed to put some younger people in there because there were so many people over 60 and 70, which is great, but they're all getting hugely dramatic results with their bodies. And, just starting to feel younger, starting to do the things they weren't able to do. I'm so happy that we're able to bring this to every single body because it's not just for the athletes. Really good to know. So thank you. All right, who else would like to share? And George, you're in Sydney. George, would you like to share?
Yeah, sure, 100%. How are you guys?
Good.
I've been on it 3 months now. It really works. I had knee issues. That's all gone, especially in the winter. I had knuckles and top of the fingers. The mobility is there and no pain. I put it morning and night, and it works. But you got to keep putting it on, you know, and that's it. And especially if you're a bit older or more mature, should I say, and especially in the winter, you know. But it does work. And the fall I had about 3 or 4 weeks ago that I mentioned last time, I just bounced back. Well, you know, I didn't stay down too long. I just went down and I went back up, you know. And usually it's a bit hard to do that, but I had no issues. So it does work. And the good thing about it is, first, our health. Secondly, the people who can help with, you know. And thirdly, the business side of it, which is one of the best, I would say, networks I have ever been to in terms of and the potential in not competing against other pills, like just every Tom, Dick, and Harry sort of thing, so to speak, you know. And that's unique. And the trademarks, it's excellent. I can't wait till we manufacture here as well.
Yeah.
We'll start registering now.
Yes, I know. Yeah, it's incredible. Thank you so much for your testimony. It's lovely to hear that you're bouncing back, and especially when there's falls and stuff like that as well. That's awesome.
Thank you very
Very
much.
good. Thanks, George. I will be testing out the carnosine a bit more tonight because I played a game of netball just before this, and I've played netball all my life, but I haven't played this year. This year was my first year without playing. I only have one game where I filled in and played again tonight, and my body will feel it if I don't use that carnosine. It's so amazing. You put it on before, about 30 minutes before you want to do a sport, and 30 minutes after. And yeah, I won't be sore or anything now. At 45 years old, most ladies, if they're playing netball still at this age, which they're normally not, they really can't even get out of bed the next day. So having that knowing, and I've done it before, I was like, yeah, this is the real deal. This is amazing. Okay, anyone else would like to share before we move on? Otherwise, we can share at the end as well. Robert, did you want to share your story with what if you want to, you can bring yourself on camera if you want. I know you've got a great story as well. Okay, if you don't though, that's okay. If you can't bring yourself on camera, we can do it at the end. All right, we'll keep going because we can definitely share more at the end. Remember that when we do share stories, they are personal experiences only. They are not we don't want to make any medical claims, and we do not diagnose, treat, or cure and prevent any disease, of course. So carnosine has become known as the longevity molecule. And I really like that as well because I hate to say it, and I know that a lot of people say you're still young, but when you get into your 40s and mid 40s, you do start to think, all right, I've got to start hacking this, it creeps up on you, so having something that is anti-aging and so good for you and having that longevity molecule has been a game changer. What I love about this, it is so simple to use. It is very clean and dry. You'd put it on the area. You just keep rubbing it in until it's all rubbed in, and it really doesn't take long. You apply it to any area that you'd like. Rub it in gently. It only takes a few minutes to actually get in there. There's two protocols. So if you are doing it for sports or for athleticism and going to the gym or playing a game of netball or football, whatever it may be, you apply it 30 minutes before, 30 to 45 minutes, and then you go play your game or go to the gym or whatever you're doing. Then you would apply it 30 minutes after. Maybe you go home, have a shower, then you apply it again. The reason for that is it's going to significantly reduce your DOMS, your delayed onset muscle soreness. In fact, I didn't feel any last time I played a full netball game 2 or 3 months ago, and I hadn't played any since last year. So it was really extraordinary. The next protocol is for mostly everyone else, okay? So it's longevity and maintenance, and this is something you want to hack. It's like a topical multivitamin, right? You really want to load up that carnosine in your body. It's going to have such an impact on a lot of levels. So what you want to do is when you first get your Lactigo, when you first get your gel, you want to apply it 3 to 4 times daily, right? You just want to apply it top to toe as many times as you can. I remember when another Stephen was applying it, he was applying it top to toe and he had no hair on his head, but he had a big mark on his head that was like it was like a bad skin mark, right? And he could not believe it because he was just applying it. He was an older gentleman and he knew that if he applied it and got his carnosine levels up, he would feel it, and he really did. But he didn't realize this big mark on his head, this big sun mark on his head actually reduced as well. Unbelievable. So a lot of different stories around there when you really get it into your body. So make sure that you load it up. Then you want, that might be for the first 2 weeks or so. Then you've probably got the carnosine levels back up when you'll start to feel the difference, right? It might be longer, it might be less, depending on what your levels are, depending on your maturity. And then you can really taper it back, and you might only do it once a day. I only do it once a day now, unless I am doing something different, like playing a netball game when I haven't played for months. Then I might add, like tonight, I'll have a shower and put it on. Easy. So for acute discomfort, if you do have something like on the weekend, one of the girls rolled her ankle in netball, I said apply it, apply it, apply it, keep applying it, and then it reduced so much even overnight. You can keep applying this. You can't overdose on this. It is so good for you, and it's a smart molecule. So even when you're applying it to a certain area, if your body needs it somewhere else, it will get there. Okay, it really does help reduce discomfort. So understanding, very simple to use. That's why I like to go have the saying, just try it. And there is a guarantee, 30-day money back guarantee, because they know how good it is. They know what happens here. Again, when it was in the secret mode, they haven't paid anyone for endorsements. That's not how they do business. When it was in the secret mode, a lot of these athletes got their hands on it and started using it, and they noticed massive difference. In fact, Brittany Reese here said the only thing she changed that helped her to get that gold medal was using the Lactico gel. Same with Usain Bolt, actually, which is a big statement. NHL players, this was actually on ESPN. It did come out because it got mandated in every single locker room in the NHL. And I think they've just got a contract with the NBA in the States with the same. So absolutely, this is a no-brainer for sports, but understanding that this is actually a no-brainer for everyone is also, I also want to really pull that aside, because people are just having dramatic results. It's a category creator, and I said that right at the start. I said one of the things that intrigued me as an entrepreneur is that no one else has this. No one really knows about carnosine. We get to educate people on something very new. So we get to do this, right? There's no other way to get carnosine at these levels into your body. You can take pills for months and you'd be lucky if you absorb up to 5%. You get to put this on, and within 30 to 45 minutes, your carnosine levels have increased up to 100%. Can you believe it? So this is really, really unique in this industry to have something so new, so brilliant at working. And yeah, we get to educate that. That's what we call a blue ocean market. And a lot of people say, oh, this is blue ocean. That's blue ocean means that it's the only one in the ocean, right? Most other products have a lot of other competition. We don't, and we never will. And the reason we never will is because of these patents. Over 40 patents. I think we thought it was 50, but it's under 50, but there's over 40, and there's more getting worked on all the time. This took decades and tens of millions of dollars to be able to do that. And Massimo Ferrari is he's the pharmacist, actually. Him and his girl created that. I think my phone's doing something funny. Tim Sharp, one of the investors, Chad Macias, okay, they actually worked on this formula, and it's incredible. So guys, if you understand this, worldwide patents legally barricading the topical delivery mechanism. No one else can deliver carnosine effectively. No one. Legally classified as a topical cosmetic. That's really huge, because this intentionally bypasses complex medical oral supplement regulatory hurdles. So when you bring in a new supplement into a country, and Australia is one of the worst, it's actually a real big pain, and it costs a lot of money, takes a lot of time. There's a lot of things you got to do. This one is going from country to country to country so easily, and it's getting passed very easily because it's a cosmetic. It doesn't even take the amount of work or the time that the other ones would. It is FDA GRAS approved, generally recognized as safe. So FDA, they're working on the TGA in Australia. It's all happening. It is approved from Health Canada, which is a big one. Okay, that takes a lot. And also the only topical that is Informed Sports certified. The only one in the whole world. So what does that mean? It's been through 3 Olympics. They've trialed this through 3 Olympics. That's how long it was that they actually created it. Started with a spray version, and now they've got a gel, right? And through 3 Olympics, they were the most drug tested athletes, because they were the ones getting the results. Passes everything. So every athlete can use this. So timing is everything. It is a startup, but it's like a startup, but it's got 15 years of groundwork, which is great because it has all the science and all of the testing and everything else happened there. It is debt free. And, we're just really excited to be able to invite you to join our pre-launch team. We're in pre-launch in USA, Canada, and Australia right now. And we've got a lot of other countries chomping at the bit to try and get in here as well. So we will be launching every other country from here. Okay, this is absolutely crucial to understand this timing here. So pre-launch stage, our official launch will be in Dallas, Texas in October. And that's for the whole company, the first official launch for the whole company, which is just huge. And I will, of course, be there. So be part of this carnosine revolution. Educate people, help people to feel better, feel younger, look younger. We didn't even speak about the skin and how we actually are looking. Again, I'm so impressed. And this is another testimony we really should be sharing. People's skin, people's complexion. People are saying, you're just glowing. Yeah, I know. And all I've been doing differently is carnosine. Unbelievable. So this is the very beginning, guys. I want to invite you to go back to the people that shared this with you and ask all the questions. And if you're on live and you have any questions, this is the time to stay and ask. Thank you so much for coming, and get back to the person that invited you.